Hey! Glad you made it. Tonight we're not talking about royalty. No golden crowns, no thrones. Just bone, blood, and the hard earth under calloused feet. This is a story forged in ice and told in fire, about a warrior woman from a time when steel and saga walked hand in hand. Not a goddess, not a ghost. Flesh and rage and iron, a Shieldmaiden, real, terrible, beautiful in her defiance. So take a moment, let the room settle, dim the lights, make a little darkness for the past to rise into. Turn on a fan, maybe. Something about the soft whir makes the silence feel deeper. And if you're watching from somewhere far, leave a comment. Let me know your place, your time. It's strange, isn't it? How stories like this can travel centuries, cross oceans, and still find you. All right, let's go back, way back. You come into the world with your fists clenched, like you already know it owes you something. Born into cold, a winter so sharp it peels the skin if you breathe too deep. Wind hissing through the cracks in the longhouse like a serpent looking for a soul. The fire's low, a lazy red eye under damp wood. Smoke curls above the rafters, fat and slow, scenting everything with soot, pine, and the faint sourness of boiled roots. The midwife is drunk. Not enough to stumble, but enough to sing to the gods under her breath. She's been through this before. She's delivered babes that didn't last the hour, took their last breath before the steam of the first even left their lips. But you arrive like thunder. Not a cry, it's a roar. A sound too big for lungs so new. The midwife blinks. Your father leans forward from the shadows. He's missing 2 fingers and half his left ear. Rumor says a troll took them. He says it with pride. She's going to be trouble, he mutters, more prophecy than complaint. The village nods. They know trouble when they hear it being born. You're a girl. That alone makes the world lean against you. There's no glory in your cradle, no songs waiting with your name in them. Girls marry, bleed, bury sons. That's the path carved for you. But sometimes, very rarely, a girl doesn't walk the path. She burns it. She picks up a shield and dares the gods to stop her. Your mother is barely conscious. Her face is gray, drawn. Her hand clutches a wooden spoon slick with sweat. She hasn't screamed once. That's how women survive here. Not with silence, but with refusal. You are laid in a goat trough. The family heirloom, if we're being honest. Lined with a wool scrap and what might be a fox pelt. A carved wooden owl watches from the corner. Hilda the spider refuses to vacate. You blink up at the thatched roof. A drip of water lands on your cheek. It's not rain. The snow above is melting from the heat of your arrival. There are no lullabies here. Only men snoring like beasts and the rhythmic grind of someone sharpening an axe by the hearth. Every so often a hound pads by and licks your forehead. That's the closest thing to affection you'll get for a while. Your brothers, 2 of them, already carry the scent of iron and ash. One sleeps with a dagger under his straw-stuffed mattress. The other practices wrestling a log outside, convinced it'll make him strong enough to fight a bear. Your grandmother talks to spirits. Your aunt has buried 3 husbands, all of whom died mysteriously during training. You'll hear the jokes someday. You'll understand them later. You're the 4th girl born in the village that year. The only one who didn't arrive screaming. You arrived watching. They name you after an ancestor who once bit off a raider's ear during a siege. A name with edges. A name that tastes like frost and defiance. Something like Fregus or Brynhild. Translates loosely to, may the gods have mercy on anyone who underestimates her. By the end of your first week, you've outlived 2 other infants. The fire hasn't gone out. The milk keeps coming. And the lice arrive right on schedule. They always do. The village starts calling you the loud one. You chew on a wooden dagger carved just for you. Not a toy, a test. You don't gnaw on the handle like the others did. You grip it, tight, determined. Like your fingers remember something your mouth hasn't learned to speak yet. You're 2 years old and already dangerous. Your walk is a stagger, your words half-formed, but your stare, it cuts. The old woman with one eye, the one who reads bones and guts, says you'll be a curse and a sword all in one. Says the gods will try to claim you early. Says they'll fail. You chase chickens with a stick, not to play, to train. You fall into the stream nearly drowned, but bite the hand that tries to pull you out. You are not cute. You are not soft. You are a seed in ash, cracking toward flame. And then one night your father doesn't come back from the fjord. He was supposed to be gone 2 days. It's been 4. The longhouse is quiet. Too quiet. Your mother sits by the fire, hands clenched so tight her knuckles crack. No one says it, but they all know. The sea doesn't give back what it takes, not without a price. You sit at her feet, carving lines into the soot with the tip of your dagger. 3 lines, then 1 slash through the middle, a mark, a rune. Your first. You don't cry. You never have. Later, when your grandmother finds you in the woods whispering to a raven, she doesn't ask what you're saying. She just nods and mutters a prayer. Not for you, for the world. 'Cause some girls are born with lightning in their bones, and the storm always finds them. You are the storm. And this is only the beginning. The wind never really leaves you. Not once you've heard it howling through the ribs of a long ship, or screaming through pine trees at night like it's hunting something, or someone. You're 6 now, or maybe 7. No one's counting too carefully. Winters blur the years, and there are no candles on cakes here. Just another day you didn't die, and that's cause enough for celebration. Your hands are calloused already, split in places from hauling water, scraping hides, dragging firewood through mud. You don't complain. Complaining is for those who want someone to fix things. You gave that up the day your father vanished into the sea. He never came back. No bones, no ship, just stories. That he was taken by a gear, or that he ran from his debts, or that he's living among trolls now, laughing at men and fathering monsters. You like that version best. It feels honest. Your mother stopped looking for him by the second snowfall. She keeps his axe above the hearth like it's a shrine. You stare at it too long sometimes, until the weight of it feels like a question burning into your chest. One night, when the adults are drinking themselves into forgetfulness, you reach up and take it. It's too big, too heavy. The head drags the ground behind you. But still, you swing it. And when it lands with a crack against the stump out back, the sound rings out like a promise. That's the first time you hear someone call you a mistake. Your uncle, stinking of mead and rot, watches from the shadows. That's not for you, he slurs. You're supposed to bear sons, not carry weapons. You don't say anything. You just lift the axe again, higher this time. You miss the stump and hit your own shin. Blood, sharp, bright, fast. You hiss but don't cry. He laughs and walks away, muttering. But in the morning, the village blacksmith brings you a smaller blade. Dull, but yours. So you stop stealing grown men's tools, he says gruffly. But there's something behind his eyes. Respect or fear? Sometimes they're the same. The other girls don't talk to you much. You scare them. You don't braid your hair. You don't hum when you sew. You don't play with the carved dolls made of bone and straw. You bury yours in the yard and draw a rune over the grave. Your aunt watches from the doorway. What did she do to deserve that? She asks. She was weak, you answer. She doesn't argue. At night, your dreams are filled with fire. Not chaos, not destruction, discipline, like a forge. You see yourself older, taller, faster, splitting shields like driftwood. You hear the roar of men falling back as you advance. You feel the cold kiss of chainmail over your shoulders. You don't know yet if it's prophecy or hunger. One morning, your grandmother hands you a bowl of goat's blood and tells you to go find your future. You take it out to the standing stones at the edge of the forest, the ones carved with ancient things too worn to read. You pour the blood at their base. The moss drinks it fast. A raven lands on one of the stones, stares at you, doesn't blink, just watches. You stare back, and then it speaks, not with words, not like the sagas say, but you feel it, something old, something vast, a knowing that settles into your bones like cold water. You are not made for safety. You are made for significance. You leave the bowl behind. You never speak of it again. But you carve the raven into the handle of your blade. That's the first time you name it. Not after a god. Not after a man. Just a sound. A sharp cry that splits the sky. It doesn't need meaning. You give it one anyway. They try to put you in a dress that year. You rip it at the seams. You say it snags your legs when you run. You say if the gods wanted you to sit still, they wouldn't have given you feet. Your mother slaps you hard, the kind of slap that echoes. You don't flinch. You look at her like you're trying to memorize something important, like the shape of hurt, like the flavor of being dismissed. She doesn't hit you again. You begin training in secret. Your brothers don't teach you. They think it's funny to push you down, to mock your grip, to steal your knife and throw it into the stream. But you learn anyway, from watching, from failing, from cutting your own skin on mistakes and remembering the sting. Every wound is a lesson, every bruise a map. You're drawing yourself in pain, and the picture is getting sharper every day. By now, the village has started whispering. She's cursed. She's mad. She's going to ruin someone's son one day. You let them talk, because every night after the fires burn low and the mead turns men to sleep, you sneak into the woods. There, with the moon as your only witness, you swing your blade until your arms tremble, until your breath burns your throat, until you forget you're just a girl in a world that's already written your ending. You don't want their ending, you want your own. And in the silence between footsteps, between heartbeats, the woods whisper it back to you. Shieldmaiden, not yet, but soon, very soon. The snow comes early this year, not the soft kind that kisses the ground and melts by noon. No, this snow is hard, wind-driven, stinging like ash in your eyes. It coats the village in silence, a heavy hush that makes even the dogs uneasy. The elders say it's a bad sign. They always do, but you like it. Cold teaches you things. That numbness is just pain's quiet twin. That your body lies when it says it can't go further. That suffering is not the enemy, softness is. You're 9. Small, wiry, all elbows and silent fury. There's a scar over your lip now, a crescent shape from a tussle with a boy twice your size. He bled more than you. That's what people remember. That winter, the men returned from a failed raid. 30 left. 19 came back, some limping, some carried. One doesn't have a face anymore, just red pulp under a cloak. They've lost more than they gained. No silver, no glory, just wounds and silence. You help strip the blood from their tunics, scrape off dried flesh with a bone comb. It smells like metal and rot. You don't gag, you don't speak, you listen. You learn which wounds kill slow, which ones fester. You listen to one of the men whimper in his sleep. He wakes and sees you watching. "What are you looking at, girl?" he spits. You say nothing, just hand him his water. He doesn't thank you. Later, your grandmother teaches you how to close a wound with a needle and sinew. "You must be gentle," she whispers, guiding your hand. But not too gentle. The skin lies. You must pull it tight, like a story that can't afford to fray. She means more than she says, she always does. When the snow is too thick to train outside, you practice in the smokehouse. Between hanging slabs of dried meat and strips of salted fish, you swing your blade at shadows. You fight the quiet. You fight your own doubt. You fight the thought that maybe you were wrong, that maybe the world really doesn't want girls like you. But deep down, you know better. One night, your aunt catches you in the smokehouse, bruised and wild-eyed, bleeding from your palm. She doesn't scold. She sits in the corner, smokes her pipe, and watches you for a long time. Then, quietly, she says, "I tried to be like you once." You stop, you wait. "I was faster than my brothers," she says. "Stronger than one, smarter than the rest. I thought I'd be the one to carry a shield. But my first blood came early. They married me off before I could even curse them properly." She exhales smoke. "I killed all 3 of them, you know. My husbands, one slipped, one fell, one never woke up." You nod slowly. "Don't waste your chance," she says, and leaves you there under the gaze of 1,000 drying eyes. By spring, the sea begins to thaw. The fjord groans and cracks like something waking up. The village starts preparing for another raid. This time they need every blade, every hand. Even the boys are being trained, even the weak ones. But not the girls, never the girls. So you take matters into your own hands. You challenge one of the boys, Sigrud. He's loud, stupid, and shaped like a rock. He laughs when you step into the training circle. "You want to spar, little raven?" he sneers. "You'll fly home with a broken wing." You don't answer. You just strike, fast, low, not honorable, not fair. You fight like someone who's had to earn everything with bleeding hands and broken ribs. You fight like someone who knows no one is coming to save her. The others shout, some cheer, some jeer. But then he goes down hard. Your blade at his throat, your knee on his chest, and silence again. This time they don't laugh. The war chief watches from the edge. He's older than the mountains. His beard is gray as the mist over the marshes. He eyes you like a puzzle, then speaks with a voice made of gravel and thunder. Teach her, he says to no one in particular, or stay out of her way. Just like that, the rules change. You're allowed in the circle now, not welcomed, tolerated. You still hear the whispers, still see the narrowed eyes, the rolling ones, but you're there, on the dirt, in the sweat and noise and fire, earning it. Your hands blister, your ribs bruise, but you smile in the blood. They don't know what to make of you. You're not soft, not sweet. You don't flinch. You don't cry. You get back up every time. At night, your mother sits by the fire, staring into it like she sees something moving in the flames. You know she's afraid. Not for you. Of you. Of what you're becoming. Of what that might cost. She finally speaks one evening. You think this path will keep you free? She asks. Her voice is flat, cold. The sword gives no mercy, it only takes. You nod. Let it. She closes her eyes, just for a moment. Then I hope the gods are watching you, girl, because the men here won't save you. You don't answer, because you've never needed saving. You just need time. The time to grow stronger, faster, sharper. And you will, because something inside you is shifting, hardening, becoming steel. You're not a girl anymore. Not really. You're becoming something else. And the world is starting to notice. The rain falls sideways the morning your brother doesn't come back. He was never your favorite. Loud, reckless, always swinging a sword before thinking. But blood is blood. And when the others return from the skirmish, soaked and silent, and he is not among them, something carves its name into your chest and stays there. They say he died well, blade in hand, eyes open, laughing. You nod. You say nothing. That night you take his blade and sleep with it across your chest like a vow. It's heavier than yours, stained at the hilt, chipped at the edge. You don't clean it. You want to feel where it cracked. You want to carry what it couldn't. No one mourns like you do. The village wails and drinks and sings songs about honor. But grief, real grief, doesn't sing. It waits. It stalks you in the quiet. It hides in the creak of the longhouse beams and in the way your mother stares through you like she's seeing a future she can't bear. You take to the woods more often now. Not to run, to listen. There's a voice in the forest, in the way the wind moves through trees that were old before your grandfather was born. You lie on the cold ground, arms wide, letting the damp seep into your bones. If the gods want you, they'll find you here. If the dead have secrets, they'll whisper them into the moss. One night, they do. You dream of a woman with burning eyes cloaked in raven feathers. She does not speak. She just lays a hand on your chest, right where the grief sits, and presses until you wake up gasping, heart hammering like a war drum. The next morning, you carve her face into the shaft of your training spear. You don't know her name, but she knows yours. The next raid comes fast. The ice breaks earlier than expected, and the war chief grows restless. The ships are loaded with spears and salted fish, hard bread, thick ropes, and the men. Always the men. You are not on the list. Of course you aren't. You wait until the night before departure, then slip into the chieftain's tent like smoke. He's drinking, always drinking, and barely registers you at first. But then you drop your brother's blade on the ground between you. The clang rings sharp. I want his place, you say. He looks at you, long, measuring, not amused, not angry, just tired. Your brother was a fool, he says at last, but he was brave. You don't blink, so am I. You're not a man. You let that hang in the air like fog. Neither was death. He chuckles, and for a second it's not cruel, just sad. He waves you away, you think it's over. But the next morning, there's an extra spot on the boat. No one says your name. No one hands you a sword. But no one stops you either. You board under gray skies, pack at your feet, heart full of storm. The sea greets you like a long-lost enemy. It's bitter, wet, cruel. You grip the rail until your knuckles burn, but you don't get sick. You won't. You refuse. They make you row, of course. For hours your muscles scream, your back seizes, your hands blister. Still, you row. The man beside you vomits twice. You don't even flinch. When you reach the foreign shore, there's no welcome. Just rocks, wind, and the smell of something rotten beneath the trees. Your first kill isn't what you expect. It's not glorious. It's not clean. It's a boy. Maybe 12, maybe younger. Holding a spear that's too tall for him, shaking in a way that makes your bones ache. He lunges clumsily. You react without thinking. Steel meets flesh. Warm spray on your cheek. A gasp. Then silence. He drops. You stare. The others keep moving. One pats your shoulder like it's a good joke. Blooded now, he says. You don't remember his name. That night you sit alone, not by the fire, away from it. You stare at your hands, at the dark red drying in the cracks of your knuckles. You want to cry, you don't. But gods, you want to. The dreams return. The woman in feathers. This time she's standing over the boy you killed. Her eyes are black holes. Her mouth never moves. But you hear her all the same. Keep going. You do. The raid lasts 2 days. You don't sleep, you don't speak much. You learn quickly how to spot a trap, how to read fear in someone's eyes, how to move through smoke without coughing. You learn where to strike to end it fast, where to strike to send a message. When it's over, you stand on a blackened shore, wind at your back, watching the flames chew through what once was a village. Your tunic is soaked in blood and seawater. There's a cut on your shoulder you didn't notice until someone pointed it out. You don't care. You survived. That should be enough. But something in you is hungrier now. Not for gold, not for glory. For meaning. You think about the boy. You think about your brother. You think about the fire and the feathered woman, and the way the sea laughs at all of us. And when the ship turns toward home, you sit at the bow, eyes ahead, hands steady. And for the first time, the men don't whisper about the girl on board. They whisper about the raven. The ship rocks gently beneath your feet, though the sea is calm, too calm, like it's holding its breath. You stand at the prow, arms crossed, cloak snapping in the wind, watching the horizon crawl closer, a smear of dark green, brown earth and distant smoke. The land you've never touched but always heard about. England, Saxon soil, thicker forests, richer fields, softer people. Or so they say. The others mutter behind you, half laughing, half praying. There's always talk before a raid. Big talk, boasts about gold, women, glory. You've learned to hear past the words, listen to the breaths between them. The way men cough too hard, the way hands tremble just slightly before gripping a blade. Everyone's brave until the screaming starts. You aren't afraid, but you're not calm either. You feel something else, heavier. Like the gods are watching. Like something's coming and it doesn't care who's ready. The boat bumps the shore. No horns, no shouts. Just the scrape of wet wood on sand and the creak of oars being lifted. You're the first off, stepping into the ankle-deep surf. Cold bites up your legs. Salt clings to your boots. The beach stretches out like a secret waiting to be broken. Behind you the others follow. 49 raiders, all dangerous, none invincible. You draw your axe. The plan is simple, it always is. Follow the smoke, sack the village, take what you can, burn the rest. But plans rarely survive the first scream. You hear it before you see the enemy. High-pitched, raw, the sound of someone losing something they love. A Saxon girl, maybe 10, clutching a basket and running for the trees. One of your own chases her. You don't watch what happens next. You walk past a burning thatch roof. The air smells like cooked grain, blood, wet wool, and iron. It sticks in your lungs. Makes you want to cough, but you won't. You move like water, like wind, like death wrapped in leather and bone. A man runs at you. No armor, just a pitchfork and a red face. You sidestep. Your axe rises, falls, bone cracks, he drops. You feel nothing. You make yourself feel nothing. That's the rule, isn't it? Feel nothing. Do everything. But when you reach the center of the village, something stalls you. A woman. Tall, older, dressed in white. Not Saxon. Not Viking. Her eyes are black, not dark. Black. She's standing still while everyone else runs, screams, burns. She's calm. Too calm. She looks at you, tilts her head slowly, and smiles like she knows a secret. Then she disappears into the smoke. You freeze, just for a second. But in war, a second is a lifetime. A blade slices past your shoulder, close enough to cut your cloak. You turn fast, parry, counter. A clean strike through the attacker's thigh. He collapses screaming. You don't. You search the smoke, the flames, the shadows, but the woman in white is gone. You press forward anyway. Hours pass, the fight fades. The screaming dies down, fires eat through what remains. You breathe through your mouth now. The smell is too thick. A man vomits beside you, shaking. He's young, younger than you, new. He wasn't ready. Few ever are. You don't speak to him. Just place a hand on his shoulder and move on. At the edge of the village, a church stands crooked and alone. You've never seen one up close before. Cross on the roof. Heavy wooden doors, stone walls that hum like they're praying even now. You open it. Inside it's quiet, no blood, no fire. Just rows of benches and a statue of a man nailed to wood. His eyes rolled back in agony. You stare at him. A god? A martyr? A warning? You don't know. You step closer. At the base of the altar, something glints. A pendant, silver, small, carved with strange lines. Nothing like your own. You pick it up. Cold, sharp-edged. You slip it into your pouch without thinking. Later you'll tell yourself it was instinct. You won't be sure why you took it. But you did. That night, the raiders feast on the beach, bellies full, voices loud. Mead spills like water, gold is counted. Teeth are pulled from warm mouths. Laughter cuts through the darkness like broken glass. You sit apart, looking inland, toward the trees, toward where the woman stood. You don't drink, not tonight, because the fire feels wrong, like you're being watched, and in your dreams the feathers return. Only now they burn. The sea swells beneath the hull, carrying you home, but your spirit remains behind, tangled in ash, buried in the soil of a ruined village. You haven't spoken since the raid. No one's pressed you. They've seen the look in your eyes, the way your hands twitch even when they're still. They chalk it up to battle lust, the aftermath of blood. But it's not that. You're not sure what it is. Only that something followed you from that church. Something more than smoke, more than memory. The pendant still rests in your pouch. You haven't touched it since that day, but you feel it. Like it's watching. Like it knows. When the sails catch the home wind, the men cheer, laughing with the hollow joy of survivors. You stare at the water, where shadows dance just beneath the surface. Too long, too narrow, too still. You blink, and they're gone. You wonder if they were ever there. You arrive in darkness. The village is quiet. No horns, no celebration. Just the soft thud of boots on mud, the hiss of torches, the eyes that peek out from doorways like ghosts in wooden coffins. They smell it on you. The death. The difference. Your mother wraps her arms around you the moment you step through the longhouse door. She holds on longer this time. You let her, but you don't return the squeeze. You're too busy listening to the silence. It's louder now. That night you don't sleep. You lie still, eyes fixed on the smoke hole in the roof, watching stars drift across like distant sparks. The carved owl from your cradle is still above your head. You remember chewing on its wing. You remember naming the spider that lived beside it. You don't remember when the shadows started whispering, but now they won't stop. At first it's faint, like a breath behind your ear. A hum, a rustle, a scraping sound beneath your bedroll that might be a mouse, might be something else. Then the dreams return. You're back in the church. The fire outside is gone. The statue is weeping, not blood, not water, but black feathers that fall one by one onto the stone floor. Each feather hits like a drum beat. Each beat pulses through your chest like a second heartbeat. You approach the altar. The woman in white is standing where the cross should be, no expression, no mercy. She reaches toward you, palm open. You wake before you touch her, sweat beads along your spine. Your hands are clenched. Your jaw aches from grinding. You rise before dawn, weapon in hand, and slip into the forest. This is where you go now. Not for peace, but for silence. A different silence, one the village cannot provide. The trees greet you like sentries. They know you. They've heard your footsteps before, but now they seem wary. like they sense you carry something unnatural. The pendant burns against your skin. You take it out for the first time since the raid. It's colder than it should be. The lines carved into it pulse faintly, though there's no light. You turn it over in your palm, half expecting it to whisper your name. Instead, a crow caws above you, loud, sharp, near. You look up. It's perched low, closer than it should be, watching. Its eyes are not bird eyes. They are human in their weight, ancient in their stillness. You throw the pendant into the dirt and step back. The bird doesn't move. It just waits. You leave it there. The silver, the crow, the question. And run until the trees blur into one endless green wall. When you return home, your grandmother is waiting. She's seated by the fire, grinding herbs you've never smelled before. Her eyes clouded with more than age. You saw her again, didn't you? You say nothing. She doesn't need you to. She walks between worlds, the old woman says, voice thin as wind-blown ash. Some call her Valkyrie. Some call her witch. I call her the reminder. Reminder of what, you ask, finally speaking. She looks up. For the first time in your life, she looks afraid that no one leaves war untouched. You kneel beside her. I didn't ask for this, you whisper. None of us did, she says. But here we are. She dips her thumb into the crushed herbs and draws a line across your forehead. For protection, she murmurs, though I doubt it will help. That night you try to sleep again. The fire is warm, the house is full, but it feels empty. You dream of snow, white, endless, falling without sound. And in the center of it, a tree, ancient, leafless, burning at the roots and blooming at the crown. At its base, the woman waits. This time she speaks. You carry my mark. You want to ask who she is, why she chose you. But your throat doesn't work. Your voice is locked in ice. She reaches out again. You wake gasping on the floor of the longhouse. Everyone else is asleep, except your younger brother. He's staring at you, wide-eyed, clutching a blanket like it's a shield. I saw her too, he whispers. And just like that, you realize you're not the only one she's watching. Morning arrives like a thief, silent, gray, unwelcome. You rise before the sun, your limbs aching not from battle but from a weight you can't name. Your brother still sleeps, curled tightly, lips moving as if whispering to someone only he can see. You don't wake him. Instead, you step outside. The village breathes around you. Smoke lifts from thatched rooftops. Hens murmur in their straw beds. Somewhere, a blacksmith curses at a stubborn hinge. Life, stubborn as moss, keeps growing, even in places scorched by flame. But you feel apart from it, like you've returned from something no one else can see. You walk into the woods with no armor, no blade. Only the pendant in your palm, cold and silent, pulsing faintly against your skin like a heartbeat that isn't yours. You dig with bare hands, kneel beside the yew tree. Its bark is knotted like ancient muscle, its roots twisting deep into the memory of the land. You press the pendant into the earth, cover it with frozen soil, and sit back, breathing hard. No prayers, no goodbye, just silence. But silence answers back. A wind curls through the trees, low, slow, carrying no leaves, no frost, and only sound. A voice, barely audible, not spoken, not sung. Remember, you stand too fast. The forest sways, your stomach knots like rope. The pendant is gone, but its echo clings to your bones. You return to the village to find it gathered. A council. Tense voices. Warriors sharpening blades not out of need, but out of habit. There's news. A neighboring clan has been raided. Not by Saxons, not by Franks. By something else. No survivors. Only a trail of feathered ash and eyes carved into stone walls. You go still. Eyes. The mark the woman in white wore beneath her throat. Your grandmother catches your glance and nods. The kind of nod that means we don't speak of this here. So you stay quiet, but your mind doesn't. That night at the edge of sleep, you whisper to your brother, "What did you see?" He's quiet for a long time, then she spoke to me. What did she say? She asked if I would follow you. You stare at the rafters, heartbeat in your throat. And what did you say? He turns to face you. Moonlight catches the curve of his cheek, still round with childhood. But his eyes no longer belong to a child. I said yes. The next morning, ravens circle low over the village. Not one or two. Dozens. black wings beating against the wind, trailing feathers like falling blades. The seer arrives at midday, a woman with white eyes and a wolfskin cloak walking barefoot through the frost. You've seen her once before, when you were 6. She touched your head and said nothing. Your mother wept for a week. Now she kneels in the center of the gathering, places a bowl of blood between her knees, and begins to speak. Something wakes, she says. Older than gods, quieter than death, it calls to those who listen. You don't move. It chooses no sides, she continues, only witnesses, those who carry its mark. Her eyes, blind and milky, lift and fall, hang straight onto you. Shieldmaiden, she says. Not your name, not even child, just the title. As if that's all you are now. You've already seen it, haven't you? You don't nod, you don't blink, but your silence betrays you. That night the dreams return. Not the church, not the snow. This time you stand in a hall of mirrors. Your reflection moves, but it's not you. It's her. White robes, black eyes. A slow smile like smoke curling from a dying fire. She lifts her hand again, not to threaten, to offer. In her palm, not the pendant, but a feather. It burns blue. You reach for it, and wake to find your hand clenched around nothing, but the smell of ash lingers on your skin. The ash doesn't wash off. You try, at first with water from the well, then with sand, even snow. But the scent clings like memory, like guilt, like a mark carved beneath your skin, not above it. You stop trying. Instead, you wrap your hands in linen before the others can see. Tell them it's from the cold. Tell them nothing at all. Let them believe what they will. It's easier than explaining what haunts you in the quiet. That silence itself is starting to feel alive. Your brother watches you more now, not with fear, with expectation, as if he's waiting for you to do something you haven't yet realized you were born to do. 3 days after the seer's visit, a rider arrives. Not one of yours, not even Norse. A trader, maybe, or what's left of one. His cloak is torn, stained black with dried blood. His horse collapses on arrival, ribs heaving, foam thick at the mouth. He speaks only once before dying in the dirt. They have no faces. No one knows what it means. But deep inside you do. You've seen the edges of them in dreams. The elders call a gathering. Voices rise like smoke, loud but directionless. Some want to prepare for war. Others speak of curses, of omens, of gods long forgotten. Your name is mentioned more than once, not with anger, with unease. You've seen something. That much is clear. But no one dares ask what. Your mother holds your hand that night. Her fingers are rough from weaving from work. They used to feel safe. Now they tremble when they touch yours. She won't look at you when she speaks. I lost 3 daughters before you. You wait. You were the only one born screaming. You correct her gently. I didn't scream. She squeezes tighter. I know. You wake before dawn and find the forest waiting for you again. The yew tree is as you left it. But the dirt where you buried the pendant is gone. Not disturbed, not scattered. Gone. As if it were never there at all. You kneel beside it, touching the place with fingers still wrapped. The earth is soft, warm, breathing almost. And then you hear it. A whisper. No, a scrape. You turn and see a shape between the trees. Human but wrong. Tall, thin, limbs too long. Its face smooth and pale as bone, with no mouth, no nose, just 2 dark holes where eyes should be. It watches you, and you cannot move. You reach for your knife, and too slowly. It steps back into the trees. Gone. You don't chase it, you don't run. You stay kneeling, because something in your chest is cracking. Not from fear, from recognition. When you return to the village, the sky is bruised, not from storm, from smoke. A hut is burning. Your cousin's. By the time you reach it, it's ash. Her body, still holding the cradle, is charred black. The baby's gone. No one saw what happened. No footprints. No fire trail. Only a single feather. Long, black, and burning with a light that doesn't belong in this world. You pick it up before anyone else can see. It doesn't burn your skin. It welcomes it. That night, your brother asks to sleep beside you. He doesn't explain why. You let him. He doesn't fall asleep right away. Neither do you. His voice comes soft, like it's afraid to break the dark. She's not trying to hurt us. You don't answer. You're not sure you believe that anymore. He turns to face you, wide eyes glowing faintly in the firelight. She's warning us. You whisper, of what? He doesn't blink, something that even the gods are afraid of. You lie awake long after he's asleep, staring into the rafters. Outside, the wind carries a new sound. Not howling, not rustling. Drums, very faint, very far, getting closer. The drums don't stop. They echo faintly through the hills for 3 nights, never growing louder, never fading away. Just there, constant, like a heartbeat beneath the earth. No one in the village speaks of it, but no one sleeps well either. Children cry in their dreams. Dogs refuse to leave the longhouses after sunset. Even the oldest warriors, the ones who laugh at blood, who call lightning by name, check their axes twice before stepping outside. You sit by the fire, still as stone. Your brother carves bone beside you. Small pieces, symbols maybe. You haven't asked. You don't want to know what he's shaping them into. Not yet. The drums keep playing. On the 4th night, the sound changes. Slows, thickens, like something massive is walking through wet earth. You step outside and the wind smells of rot and snow, like spring dying in its sleep. Then you see her again. At the edge of the woods, she stands beneath the yew tree, white robes unmoving despite the wind. Her arms are down this time, her face blank, not cruel, not kind, just waiting. You take 1 step forward, and behind her, behind the trees, you see them. Eyes, dozens of them, pale as smoke, blinking in and out of existence like dying stars, watching not just her, watching you. The world narrows to a single point of silence. Then she raises her hand and points, not at you, at the village. You run. You don't think. You crash through the dark, mouth dry, lungs scraping against ribs. Mud sucks at your feet. Branches rake your arms. But you don't stop. The village rises before you, warm, flickering, alive. Too alive. You scream before you reach the first hut. A warning. A single word. Fire. Because by the time you reach the gates, the first roof is already glowing red. It spreads fast, faster than it should. You see flames licking skyward, moving against the wind. You smell burning meat before you hear the screams. It's not a raid. It's a cleansing. You grab your brother first, then your mother. She's crying, but not from fear and from knowing. We should have left when the seer came, she whispers over and over. The gods have turned away. The gods have turned away. You drag them through smoke, past walls that shudder and fall in waves of heat. Somewhere behind you, the chieftain's longhouse collapses with a sound like a scream. You don't look back. Not until the edge of the trees. You turn then, and see them. Figures moving through fire like shadows in water. Tall, thin, faceless. Not walking. Gliding. Where they pass, flame turns black and flickers inward, devouring not just wood, but light. The woman in white stands in the center of it all, unburned, untouched, unmoved. Her gaze lifts again, and meets yours. She doesn't speak. She just lowers her hand. Later, the survivors count only 12. There were over 60 the night before. The old, the sick, the young, gone. No bodies, no bones, just ash. You bury what you can salvage. A boot, a charm, a handful of teeth. Your grandmother's ghost doesn't speak now. She just sits by the edge of the fire, rocking back and forth. Hands pressed to ears that no longer hear anything but drums. You sit beside her, quiet, empty, until your brother presses something into your hand. The feather, still warm, still glowing. Why me? You ask, not expecting an answer. He looks at you and says without blinking, because you're not afraid of the dark. You don't respond. Because he's wrong. You are afraid. But fear is no longer something you run from. It's something you walk into, blade drawn, jaw clenched. Because now the question isn't what's coming. The question is, what did they take? And why did they leave you behind? The wind won't stop. It howls across the ruined valley like a beast denied its prey, circling the scorched remains of your village, lifting ash into spirals that vanish as fast as they appear. The sky hasn't cleared in days. Gray, heavy, pressing down like a lid on a boiling pot. No birds, no laughter, no gods. You walk the perimeter each morning, not because it helps, just because it's something to do that feels like survival. Your boots crunch through bone-dusted soil. The gate that once stood tall is now a splintered memory. No one dares rebuild it. The 12 of you huddle in the longhouse that didn't burn. It creaks now like it's trying to speak, but there are no words left. Only looks, only silence, and the quiet understanding that something unnatural chose you to keep breathing. You look at them. The old man who hasn't blinked in a day, the boy who still clutches his dead sister's doll, the woman who talks to the fire like it's her child. None of them are warriors, not anymore. Survivors, yes, but only barely. Your mother doesn't speak much. She stares at the doorway every night, as if waiting for someone. You know who. Your father never came back from the hunt. No one says it, but the look in their eyes is clear. Whatever happened, he was offered. You go to the woods again, not to the yew tree. That place feels closed now, like a book already written. You follow the path where the gliding figures stood. The earth is dead there. No moss, no frost, just black glass where flame touched ground. You find the mark again, a circle of stones arranged with care. Inside it, a bone charred to white, a child's, a girl's. You kneel, trembling, not from fear, from the growing suspicion that this isn't over, that it never was. That night, the dream is different. No fire, no feather, just her, the woman in white. You sit across from her in a stone hall without a roof. Snow falls through the stars above you, vanishing before it touches her skin. She speaks. For the first time, but not in words. The sound comes like breath across frost. A feeling behind your eyes, a voice too old for language. You are not chosen. You flinch. You are witness. Then she raises her hand, and everything goes black. You wake with your hand clenched. The feather is gone, but something else is there. A stone. Round, warm, carved. An eye. Your brother wakes too, and says nothing, just nods once. As if he knew this would happen, as if he gave it to you in the dream. The survivors are packing. It's decided. The village is cursed, they say. We must go west toward the coast, find another clan, another fate. Anything but this. You could go, but something roots you here. Not loyalty, not hope. Curiosity. You want to know why you were spared. You want to know what the figures were, what they are. You want to understand the voice that told you witness. Your brother offers to stay. He says it like it's nothing, like he'd follow you into fire, or worse. You don't stop him. You walk to the shore with the others. Say goodbye. No one says your name. They don't hate you. They just fear the shape it makes in their mouths now. Two remain, you and him. The last night is quiet. No drums, no fire, just the groan of old timber, the hush of wind through shattered beams. Then, just before dawn, you hear it again. Not drums, not footsteps, voice. Calling your name. Not in threat, in invitation. You step outside and see the edge of the forest flicker, like breath on a mirror, and the world beyond it waiting to be opened. Your brother looks at you. Do we follow it? He asks. You don't answer. You just reach for your axe, because this time you won't be running into darkness. You'll be dragging light with you. The forest does not welcome you. It accepts you. With indifference. Branches part just enough for your passage, as if the trees themselves remember your bloodline. They don't creak, they don't whisper, they listen. Your boots leave no mark in the soil now. The path is too old, too used. Others have walked this trail before. Some of them may never have returned. You wonder, not for the first time, if the forest is a place or a creature, if it feeds on memory or offers sanctuary to those no longer human. Your brother walks behind you, quiet, focused. He's older now, not in years, but in weight. The kind of weight that never leaves the bones. His small hand rests on the hilt of a dagger, carved from staghorn and ashwood. You made it for him once. It was meant for play, not war. Now it glows faintly. You walk until the light disappears. Not nightfall, just absence. The sun doesn't set here, it withdraws. Even the wind holds its breath. You pass under a great arch of stone, cracked but still standing. Runes are carved into it, deep and weathered. They shift when you stare too long, not physically but in meaning. You glimpse phrases, those who listen too long. The hunger beneath the veil, eyes that remember before memory. Your brother shivers. Can we go back? You don't answer, because you know you won't. Further in, the path opens to a clearing that feels wrong. Not evil, not cursed, just off. The trees circle inward like ribs around a heart. In the center, a pool. Black water, still as glass. It reflects the sky even though no stars shine above it. It reflects you, but not your brother. He sees it too. Why aren't I there? You kneel by the water. Your reflection doesn't blink. You reach toward it, and the water reaches back. Fingers, yours but not yours, rise from the surface and press against your palm. You freeze, then lean closer, and your reflection smiles. The world flips. Suddenly you're standing in snow again. But it's not now. It's before. Your village, unburned. Children run past. Your grandmother stirs the fire. Your father sharpens his axe beneath the yew tree. You see yourself, smaller, fiercer, not yet broken. You want to run to them, to scream, to warn. But something stops you. They can't see you. They're not real, or you're not. Then the sky splits open. Not with light, with sound. A crack like bone breaking in the mouth of a god. Everything goes still. The fire freezes mid-flame. The snow halts mid-fall, and above the village something descends. Not a creature, not a ship. A shape, impossible to describe. Not because it's monstrous, because it refuses to be known. It looks down at your people and smiles. Not with teeth, not with kindness, with inevitability. Like it was always going to end this way, like it always does. You're pulled backward, gasping. The reflection shatters, the pool goes still. Your brother grabs your arm. What did you see? You shake your head. You can't say it, because you don't have the words. Only one truth. It wasn't the fire that killed your village. It wasn't the woman in white. It was the beginning of something bigger. And you, for reasons you still don't understand, are the thread that refuses to snap. You keep moving, deeper. The trees thin, but the dark thickens. Your brother hums under his breath. A song your mother once sang to lull storms. It doesn't work here, but it helps. Then you see it. A wall. Massive. Worn. Covered in carvings of war, of wings, of eyes and blades and suns that bleed. A gate stands at its center. Not locked, not broken. Just waiting. You place your hand on it, and the stone grows warm. Not from fire. From recognition. You turn to your brother. This is it. He nods. Not with courage. With resolve. And as the gate begins to open, stone grinding, runes flaring, the air itself humming like a drawn bowstring, you understand something that makes your skin crawl. The woman in white wasn't warning you about what was coming. She was leading you toward it, and now, you're about to cross the threshold into a world the gods themselves have tried to forget. The gate doesn't swing open. It exhales. Stone shudders like lungs taking their first breath in centuries, and for a moment everything feels alive. The wall, the air, even the silence. You expect to hear music, or screams, or perhaps that same low drumbeat from the night your village burned. But instead, there is nothing. No welcome, no threat, just the sound of ancient stone remembering. Your brother grips your cloak. Not hard, just enough to remind you he's still here, still real. You nod once, and together you step through the threshold. The moment your foot crosses the line, the world changes. Not abruptly, slowly, like sinking beneath water. Color bleeds from the edges of your vision. The scent of frost and pine is replaced by something metallic, old blood and wet stone. There's no sun overhead, but a pale gray light seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. You are inside the bones of something enormous. You're not sure if it was built or grown. The walls curve in impossible ways. No sharp angles, no right lines. The floor pulses faintly under your boots. Not movement, but a heartbeat. You press your palm to it. Warm, alive. There are symbols etched into the stone here too. But they don't shift, they watch. Runes shaped like eyes shaped like stars shaped like screams. Your brother walks ahead now, following some instinct older than language. He hums that storm lullaby again, softer now, like he's singing to the walls. And maybe he is. He stops suddenly. There's someone here. You don't see anyone, but you feel them. Presence just beyond your sight, close, listening. You draw your axe, not for attack, for protection, for memory, for grounding. The hall leads into a vast chamber. No ceiling. just black, endless sky far above, rippling with silent flashes of red. The floor is covered in carvings, not just symbols this time, but scenes, stories. A great tree devoured by flame. A child holding a blade in both hands. A woman with no face, arms outstretched as people kneel before her. A wolf with too many eyes. A storm coiled like a serpent. And at the center of it all, a circle, carved deep. You kneel beside it. The markings are familiar, the same as the stone your brother gave you. You place the stone in the center of the circle. It clicks, and the chamber trembles. Light spills up from the carvings like veins catching fire. Red, gold, white, impossible colors burning without heat. The stories on the floor begin to move, flickering like firelight on water. They show the past, the real past, long before your village, before the gods you've named. A time when power was not given but taken. You see a woman rise from a battlefield, alone, covered in blood. Not a warrior, something else. A vessel, chosen not by divine hand but by the will of the dead. She walks across ages, leaves kingdoms in her wake, always alone, always watching, until one day, she vanishes. The world forgets her name, but the mark remains, in bloodlines, in stories, in you. Your brother gasps. You look down. His hands are covered in ink. No, not ink. It moves. Symbols crawl across his skin like spiders, weaving ancient phrases into his veins. His eyes flicker with light not his own. I can hear them, he whispers. You kneel beside him. Who? He swallows hard. The ones below. The words make the chamber shrink. You hear them too now. Not voices. Not sounds. Thoughts. Hungry, curious, ancient. You stand quickly, and the woman in white is there. At the far end of the chamber, her robes ripple without wind. Her eyes are closed, but you feel them inside you. She lifts her arm and points again. Not at the circle, not at your brother. At you. The carvings stop moving. The light dies. The floor goes cold, and her voice fills your skull like thunder in a sealed room. Now you choose. You open your mouth, but no sound comes out. She steps closer, and for the first time you see her face. It's yours. Not entirely. Older. Worn. Changed. As if this isn't the first time you've stood here. As if it never ended, just began again. Choose, she whispers. Your brother calls your name, and the chamber begins to collapse. Stone tears like cloth. Light bleeds upward, and time itself tilts sideways. You reach for your axe, for the boy, for the memory of your mother's voice. But the choice is already made, because deep down in the marrow of your bones, you know, you were never just meant to witness. You were meant to become, and now the becoming begins. The world doesn't shatter. It folds, quietly, like cloth being drawn over a body. One moment you're in the chamber with the woman in white, her face a reflection twisted by time. The next, you're falling, not down but inward, through yourself, through every version of you that ever could have been. You land without sound, and when you rise, it is snowing, but not the snow of your homeland. This snow is ash-colored. It falls in spirals, not flurries. It doesn't melt on your skin. It clings to you like memory. You're standing in a wasteland, a battlefield, ancient and frozen. Weapons jut from the ground like teeth. Swords, axes, spears, all half buried, rusted by time. No bodies, just armor, empty, crumpled, as if the people inside were erased mid-breath. The sky above is dark, not with storm, but with the weight of absence. You hear footsteps behind you. Your brother, older, not just in body, in presence. His eyes carry knowledge now, pain too. The kind that burns clean through a soul and leaves something stronger behind. He doesn't ask where you are, because somehow he knows. We're in her memory, he says. You nod. Not hers. Yours. You walk together. The silence is thick, like a secret waiting to break. Then you reach it. A stone monolith cracked and bleeding light. It hums. You kneel. Place your hand on it. The hum becomes voice. Not words, not sound. A feeling. The memory of your first hunt. The moment the arrow flew. The silence before it hit. The breath before the scream. Then another vision. You easy, but not you. I'm standing atop a hill, drenched in blood, staring down at a village burning. Not yours. Another. You raise your weapon. You do not flinch. You've done this before, in another life. You are the fire. The vision fades. The sky begins to ripple, like skin before a wound breaks open. You look up. Something vast is descending. Not a creature, a will. The same presence from the pool, from the carvings. The one that smiled as it devoured your past. Your brother grabs your wrist. He's afraid, but not of it. Of you. Is this what you become? He whispers. You don't answer, because the truth is heavy in your throat. You don't know, but you feel it, the pull, the power, and the hunger. A voice echoes through the ruin. Low velvet unseen. Not hers, not yours. The first voice. The one that sleeps beneath gods and wakes beneath graves. Take the blade, it says. And there it is. Buried in the ground. No hilt. Just shadow shaped like steel. You reach for it. The moment your fingers close around it, everything stops. The sky, the wind, even the ash. You hear every heartbeat across time. Every scream ever choked back. Every prayer left unanswered. You feel them all. And for one breathless moment you understand. You are not wielding a weapon. You are becoming one. You open your eyes. You're no longer in the memory. You're back in the chamber. But different. The woman in white is gone. Or maybe she is you now. Your brother is staring wide-eyed. He sees it. The light in your veins. The shape in your shadow. You walk to the gate that brought you here. Place your hand on the stone, and it bows. The world does not resist you anymore. It recognizes what you are. Not chosen, not cursed, awakened. And beyond the gate, the true enemy waits. Not a creature, not a god, but a truth buried too long. A truth that wears your face when the fire starts, and smiles, like it always knew this day would come. You emerge into dusk, but it isn't the end of the day. It's the end of something older. The light has a bruised hue thick with dust, like the sun is bleeding behind the clouds. The air here tastes different. Not stale, not sweet. Just still, as if the wind has forgotten how to move. Before you lies a plain, endless and cracked like dry bone. Not a single tree, no birds, no signs of life. Only a single path etched into the earth by centuries of feet that walked before you, and perhaps never returned. Your brother doesn't speak. Neither do you. Some silences are sacred. Some are too full to be touched. The path bends east, toward the jagged remains of a fortress, or a cathedral, or both. The stone spires jut upward like broken teeth, blackened by fire that never needed wood. Around it, a circle of monoliths, half-toppled, each one carved with sigils of protection, binding, warning. You recognize none of them, but you feel all of them. They weren't placed there to keep something out. They were placed to keep something in. You step over the threshold, and the sky forgets how to be sky. Inside, there is no structure, just memory. You're walking through what remains of a hall that once echoed with war chants and mourning songs. The walls are scorched, the floor is cracked, but the bones remain, not of people, but of moments. They cling to the air like frost on glass. You see echoes, not with your eyes, but your soul. A young girl kneeling, tears mixing with ash. A warrior placing his sword at another's feet. A mother cradling a child that never drew breath. The ground remembers. You kneel. You touch the stone. It burns you. Not with heat, with grief. Centuries of it. Layered, sealed, pressed down until the weight became sacred. Your brother drops beside you. There's something here, he says. Something underneath. You already know. You just don't want to admit it. But it calls. A song with no melody. Summons with no voice. You find the stair hidden beneath a shattered altar, worn smooth by hands, feet, and blood. You descend slowly, the light thinning with each step. Your axe feels heavier now, not from weight, from expectation. You are not the first to walk this descent, but you may be the last. The walls breathe, stone pulses, and far below, something waits. You reach a door. It's not built, it's grown. Veins of black mineral throb like arteries across its surface. In the center, a symbol that doesn't exist in any language, but still makes your stomach twist. A spiral of eyes. Closed. Waiting. Your brother reaches for it. You stop him. I go first. You press your palm against the spiral, and the door opens like a mouth. The chamber is vast, wider than it should be. Too wide. You step inside and suddenly you're not in a room. You're in a memory wrapped in skin. The walls whisper names. Yours is among them. And there, in the center, stands a figure. Not a god, not a demon. Something worse. Familiar. It wears your armor, your face, but older, crueler. Its eyes are hollow and yet filled with stars. Its mouth is a scar that never closed. It holds a blade identical to yours, but soaked in something darker than blood. You step forward. So does it. A mirror without glass. A prophecy wearing your bones. I've been waiting, it says, voice like rust on silk. You say nothing. There's nothing to say. You think you've come this far to stop me. Its mouth twists into something like amusement. But you are me. Behind you, your brother tenses. His hand finds your sleeve. I'm not you, you whisper. The echo laughs. No, not yet. It lunges. And time breaks. You meet in the center, axe against axe, twin flames clashing in the dark. The first strike sends shockwaves through the chamber. The second shatters the nearest wall. The third. You don't remember the third. Only the pain. And the sound of your brother screaming your name. You fall. Hard. Back against the stone. Blood in your mouth. The echo stands over you. You thought you were the fire, it says. I am the fire. And it raises its axe. But before the blow lands, your brother steps between. Hands out. No weapon. No armor. Just his voice. You're not her. The echo hesitates. Its blade wavers. Your brother speaks again, louder this time. She isn't you yet, and you aren't real anymore. The words strike like lightning, and the echo cracks. Splits down the center. It howls, a sound like bones grinding into dust. And then, silence. The figure falls, and you rise. Not unbroken, but whole. Your brother kneels beside you, breath shaking. And you whisper only one thing. It's not over. Because you feel it. Through the walls, through the earth. Something deeper still sleeps. And now that it's heard your name, it has begun to wake. The silence afterward is not peace. It's the kind that comes before a second storm. Still unnatural, the kind that listens. You sit with your back against the stone, your blood cooling, your brother beside you, breathing like he just outran death. Maybe he did. Maybe you both did. Or maybe what just happened was only the door creaking open. You glance at the broken figure lying where your reflection fell. Its armor is scorched, its blade cracked, but its eyes are still open. Not seeing, remembering. You don't touch it. You don't need to. Because you felt it. That thing wasn't trying to kill you, it was trying to claim you piece by piece, memory by memory, until there was nothing left but the echo. And you, wearing its smile. Your brother finally speaks, voice soft like winter wind. What do we do now? Don't answer right away. Because there's a sound beneath your heartbeat. Not thunder, not breathing. Dripping. Slow, rhythmic. Stone wet with blood or something older. You stand. You move toward the far wall, past the echo's broken form to where the sound grows louder. There, beneath layers of soot and old runes, you find it. A crack, no bigger than your palm. But the air seeping from it is warmer, wetter, and it hums with a pulse not your own. Behind this wall, something waits. And it's been waiting a long time. You press your hand to the stone. It's soft, not like flesh, more like rot that forgot to fall apart. The wall shudders beneath your fingers, then shifts. The crack spreads, widening like a wound, revealing a narrow corridor slick with moss and something darker. The air reeks of salt and rust, like a sea that forgot how to move. The walls pulse with faint red light, like breath trapped in stone. You look at your brother. He doesn't ask this time. He follows. Because he knows whatever lies beyond this place isn't just your burden anymore. It's your legacy and your curse. The corridor tightens. The deeper you go, the less the world makes sense. Shadows move without source. Your footsteps echo before you take them. At one point, the ceiling above you vanishes completely, replaced by a void stitched with dying stars. Time unravels here. You reach a chamber, circular, damp, empty, except for the pool. It sits in the center like a black mirror, perfectly still. Not water, not oil, something older, something watching. Above it, A single chain dangles from the void, thin as hair, forged from a metal that flickers between colors that don't have names. The moment you step near it, the air thickens. You feel every scar in your body ache at once, every grief, every shame. The pool knows you, and it invites you. Your brother touches your arm. This is wrong. You nod. It is. But it's also necessary. You kneel at the edge, peer into the surface, and what you see is not your reflection. You see the first war. The true war. Not of land, not of kings, but of memory. Souls fought to keep stories buried. Others tore the world apart just to be remembered. And in the center of it all, a woman, alone, always alone. You recognize her. She has your hands, your scars, your silence. She walks through fire not to destroy, but to remind. That everything forgotten finds its way back. Eventually, a voice rises from the pool. Not words, just meaning. Show me who you were. You hesitate, but only for a moment. Then, like pulling breath from bone, you speak. Not aloud, from within. You show the pool the longhouse where you were born. The spoon your mother gripped. The spider named Hilda. The first dagger, the old goat trough. The sleepless nights beside the fire. The cold, the hunger. The fight to become instead of belong. You show it blood, steel, ash, and the choice to be more than echo. To be legend. The pool begins to glow. Soft at first, then violent. Your brother cries out and shields his eyes. You don't look away, because in that light you see it. The chain above begins to lower, and at its end, a key. Not shaped like anything you've seen before. It curves like bone grown in grief. It pulses like a heart. You stand. Take the key, and the pool screams. Not from pain, from joy, because now the lock can be opened. The corridor behind you is gone. There is only forward now. Stone becomes flesh, light becomes breath, and far ahead, so far it feels like a memory you've yet to earn, you see it. A door, massive, alive, bound in carvings that look like they weep when you blink, and beneath it, buried in dust and salt, the last word of the chamber. Remember. You tighten your grip on the key. Your brother walks beside you, and together you walk toward the final gate. Not to end the story, but to write the part no one survived to tell. The door does not open. It listens. As you approach, the carvings ripple like skin stirred by breath. You raise the key. It burns against your palm, not from heat, but from memory. Every heartbeat you've ever had surges through it. Every scream swallowed. Every path not taken. All of it. In you. Now. Your brother watches in silence. He doesn't ask if you're ready, because he knows you're not. But readiness is a luxury of safer lives. Not the lives of those born beside fire, forged in blood, raised on the cold edge of a blade. You press the key into the door. It doesn't twist, vanishes. The door exhales and opens. The chamber inside is vast, but not in size, in weight. It is the weight of everything that has ever been hidden. Every secret buried too deep. Every truth scrubbed from the scrolls. It is quiet, not from absence, but reverence. There, at the center, a shape. A throne carved from bone. And on it, no one. Empty. Waiting. Above it, suspended like a heartbeat, frozen in the moment before death. The seed. Small, pale, shimmering faintly. Not gold. Not divine. Just alive. The thing you came for. The thing that calls itself the beginning. Your brother moves first. He steps forward. And the chamber reacts. Not with hostility. With memory. His armor peels away in flakes of light. His eyes fill with storms. You turn to him. But he's no longer your brother. He's something else. Older. Wiser. A version of him that has seen. He looks at you, hollow and shining all at once. I remember now, he says, voice layered like two speaking through one throat. I was the one who locked it away. You stagger. The air warps around your thoughts. You? He nods slowly. In another life. In a body before this one. I carried the seed. I burned the skies to protect it. And then I buried it where no war would find it. He steps back. And now he glows, faint and fading. It has to be you now. You shake your head. But why me? He smiles. Not as a brother, but as something higher and lower and deeply, deeply human. Because you are the last who will choose. The light swells. And he is gone. Not dead. returned. Like mist folding back into rain, you stand alone again. You approach the seed. It hums like silence before birth. And now you understand. It is not power. It is memory. All of it. The truths the gods buried. The voices of women who bled for stories never told. The names of every warrior erased from the saga because she did not fit the mold. It is them. Their pain. Their strength. Their bloodline. And it waits for your answer. You could leave it. Let the cycle remain broken. Let the world forget. You could take it. Burn the skies. Remake the sagas in your own name. But you don't do either. You kneel, place your palm to the earth, and whisper one word. Remember? The seed pulses once, then splits. Light pours into the stone, into the chamber, into you. Not to grant power, to return it. Suddenly, the halls above blaze with voices. You hear the dead singing. You hear your mother laughing. You hear the clink of a carved wooden dagger dropped on stone. You hear Hilda the spider spinning her thread. You hear every woman whose name was erased by ink and fear. You rise, the seed gone. But the story remains. And you, warrior, daughter, Shieldmaiden flame, walk out of that chamber. Not a legend, but a witness. And far above, in the cold air of dawn, the world shifts. Just slightly, as if it too remembers your name.